Did you know that the habit of drinking a few cups of coffee every day, something that seems harmless, could actually be quietly making our muscles weaker after 60? Coffee can give us a boost of alertness, but if we overdo it, it pushes the body toward dehydration, disrupts sleep, and even reduces calcium absorption. The end result is weaker muscles, declining stamina, and that shaky or tired feeling after the simplest daily activities. In today's video, take a closer look at the truth about coffee, why it can be both a friend and a hidden enemy of our muscles after 60, and most importantly, how to enjoy it the right way so we can savor the taste while still protecting our health. Before we dive in, if you find these kinds of natural and practical health tips useful, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey of sustainable health together. In the United States, coffee is almost woven into daily life. Many of us are used to starting the morning with a hot cup, and that routine often continues well into retirement. Some people even keep up with 2, 3, or 4 cups a day, believing it helps them stay sharp and energized. When we're younger, the body can handle large amounts of caffeine fairly well. But after 60, our system doesn't metabolize and clear caffeine as quickly as before. The nervous system, kidneys, and liver all slow down, which means the effects of coffee last longer and hit harder. For many older adults, the habit of drinking more coffee is easy to understand. It's the desire to hold on to that spark of energy. Caffeine stimulates the release of dopamine, the hormone linked with pleasure and motivation. That's why after a cup of coffee, we feel brighter, in a better mood, and ready to start the day. With age, the body naturally produces less dopamine, which explains why fatigue, drowsiness, or lack of motivation show up more easily. Coffee becomes a quick fix, a way to make up for what's missing. But dopamine is also the reason coffee can be hard to give up. Each time we drink, the brain remembers that burst of pleasure, and we want to repeat it. Over time, the body adjusts to higher caffeine levels, forcing us to drink more cups to feel the same effect. Many older adults fall into this loop without realizing the long-term consequences it has on muscle health and overall well-being. Coffee is also tied to social habits, chatting with friends, reading the morning paper, or relaxing at a favorite cafe. These associations make it harder to cut back, because it's not just a drink, it's part of daily life. On the surface, coffee may look harmless, but when we drink more than recommended, especially after 60, hidden effects begin to build up. And the most concerning is the impact it has on muscles, which are already naturally weakening with age. That's what we'll break down in detail in the next section, as we explore how caffeine interferes with sleep and muscle recovery. Once we reach our 60s, one of the clearest changes in the body is how fragile sleep becomes. It's harder to fall asleep, easier to wake up in the middle of the night, and more difficult to slip back into deep rest. This is a natural part of aging, since the brain produces less melatonin and the internal clock becomes less responsive with time. In that context, if we keep drinking large amounts of coffee, the problem only gets worse. Caffeine in coffee works like a blocker of adenosine, the chemical that signals when it's time for the body to rest. Normally, adenosine builds up in the brain throughout the day, and once it reaches a certain level, we feel sleepy. But when we drink coffee, caffeine takes adenosine's place, cutting off that sleep signal. The result is that we feel alert, but it's an artificial alertness, while the body's real need for rest remains unmet. Younger people can often bounce back from this disruption. For older adults, though, the effect lingers much longer and throws off the body's rhythm more severely. Shallow, broken sleep has big consequences for muscles. Nighttime is the prime time for producing growth hormone and testosterone, 2 hormones vital for repairing and maintaining muscle mass. During deep sleep, muscles are rebuilt, tiny daily tears are repaired, and energy stores are replenished. When sleep is cut short or its quality is poor, this entire cycle is disrupted. That means the body can't fully repair muscle damage, recovery is incomplete, and over time, muscle mass declines faster. A clinical study on older adults showed that after just 3 or 4 nights of poor sleep, the rate of muscle protein breakdown rises noticeably, while protein synthesis slows down. In other words, muscles are lost faster than they're rebuilt. Combine that with high caffeine intake, and the problem worsens because caffeine prolongs nervous system stimulation, making it harder for the body to enter deep restorative sleep. The result is daytime fatigue. Even after 6 or 7 hours of sleep, you may wake up exhausted. Your arms and legs feel heavy. Climbing a few stairs leaves you drained, and sometimes you may even feel shaky. This isn't simply aging. It's a sign that muscles haven't had the rest and repair they need. And then a vicious cycle begins because you're tired. You reach for more coffee to stay alert. But the more coffee you drink, the worse your sleep gets, and the weaker your muscles become. Poor sleep also raises the risk of falls in older adults. Weak muscles and slowed reflexes mean even a small misstep on the stairs can cause a serious injury. That's why many neurologists and geriatric specialists recommend limiting coffee intake after 60, especially in the afternoon and evening, to protect the body's natural rhythm. Of course, we don't have to give up coffee altogether. The key lies in moderation and timing. A small cup in the morning can be a pleasant way to start the day, but 2 or 3 cups spread throughout the afternoon and evening will take a toll. Because caffeine takes longer to clear from the bloodstream, after 60, it can stay in the system for 8 hours or more. This means even a cup after lunch could be enough to disrupt nighttime sleep. What we need to remember is that muscle health depends not only on exercise and nutrition, but also on rest. And as we grow older, quality rest becomes even more valuable. If coffee keeps us awake for a short burst of energy, but robs us of restorative sleep, that price is simply too high. So after seeing how coffee disrupts sleep and muscle recovery, the next question is, what else makes overuse of coffee harmful for the body? In the following section, we'll look at how caffeine triggers dehydration and electrolyte imbalances in older adults. One effect few people think about when drinking a lot of coffee is caffeine's diuretic action. In simple terms, the more coffee we drink, the more water the body flushes out. For younger adults, mild dehydration is often corrected quickly, but once we pass 60, the body is less able to maintain fluid balance. And even a small shortfall can have big consequences. When the body is dehydrated, blood becomes thicker, slowing the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the muscles. That makes muscles tire faster, move less smoothly, and lose endurance. Water also serves as the medium that keeps electrolytes minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium in balance. These are absolutely essential for muscle contractions. Even a slight imbalance can cause abnormal contractions, leading to cramps, tremors in the hands or legs, or even irregular heartbeats. Think of muscles like a machine. To keep running smoothly, the machine needs oil for lubrication and a steady flow of electricity. In the body, water is the oil, and electrolytes are the current. When coffee causes the body to lose both, the machine, our muscles start to malfunction. Those nighttime leg cramps, shaky hands when lifting something heavy, or unusual fatigue after a walk may all trace back to too much coffee without enough fluids and electrolytes to balance it out. An observational study in older adults in the US found that people drinking more than 3 cups of coffee daily reported muscle cramps, significantly more often than those who drank less. Coffee isn't the only factor, of course, but this finding highlights how dehydration and electrolyte shifts connect coffee intake with muscle health. It's also important to remember that older adults are already more prone to dehydration. The sense of thirst weakens with age, kidney function declines, and certain chronic conditions or diuretic medications increase fluid loss even further. Add multiple cups of coffee on top of that, and the body can easily slip into a state of fluid shortage, leaving muscles as the first to suffer. Dehydration also affects balance, weak muscles, slower reflexes, and dizziness from low fluid levels together raise the risk of falls. This is especially serious after 60, since even one fall can lead to a hip fracture or other injury that permanently reduces quality of life. The simplest fix is to add water back in. For every cup of coffee, match it with a glass of water. This not only helps maintain fluid balance, but can also reduce the racing heartbeat some people feel after caffeine. Vegetable juices or coconut water are also good choices since they add potassium and magnesium to naturally restore electrolytes. So, dehydration and electrolyte imbalance form a key piece of the puzzle when it comes to coffee's effects on the body after 60. They help explain why many older adults feel more fatigued or notice shakier muscles the more coffee they drink. After seeing this picture, the next question becomes, does coffee also work against the body in other ways that accelerate physical decline? The answer lies in its effect on calcium absorption and bone health, an indirect but critical factor in keeping muscles strong. That's where we'll turn in the next section. When we talk about muscle health, we often think of exercise or protein. What many forget is that muscles only function well when anchored to strong bones. A healthy body relies on the partnership of bone and muscle. If bones are weak, even well-nourished muscles can't perform at full strength. This is exactly why coffee deserves extra caution after 60. Caffeine has been shown to interfere with calcium absorption in the intestines. Drinking too much coffee also increases calcium loss through urine. In other words, the body retains less calcium to build and maintain bones. In younger adults, this loss might not be noticeable. But for those over 60, when bone mass is already shrinking naturally, even small deficits can push osteoporosis to progress faster. Osteoporosis isn't just a bone problem, it directly affects muscles, too. Weak bones provide poor support, making everyday activities like walking, climbing stairs, or even standing for long periods much harder. Many older adults complain that their muscles feel weaker by the day, when in fact the root cause lies in bone strength declining beneath them. Long-term studies in the US have found that older adults drinking more than 4 cups of coffee daily face a higher risk of hip fractures compared with those who drink less. A hip fracture is one of the most serious events for seniors, often leading to loss of mobility and independence. And once bones fail to provide steady support, muscle weakness accelerates in a downward spiral. Calcium loss from excess coffee also raises the risk of muscle cramps. Calcium is a critical mineral for muscle contraction. Low blood calcium makes muscles slower to respond and more prone to cramping or trembling. Seniors may mistake this for normal aging, when in fact it can be traced back in part to mineral imbalance caused by too much coffee. Picture a familiar morning after 3 cups of coffee. You feel alert, but your hands tremble slightly holding a spoon, or your legs tire faster on a short walk outside. This may not simply be age, it may be the combined effect of dehydration, electrolyte shifts, and calcium loss all at once. This doesn't mean everyone who drinks coffee will develop osteoporosis or muscle weakness, but it does underline the importance of keeping coffee in check while also getting enough calcium, vitamin D, and other bone-supporting nutrients. Without that balance, the body pays the price with weaker bones, declining muscle strength, and higher risk of falls. Another layer to this is diet. Many older adults in the US already get too little calcium, since milk and dairy consumption often drop with age. Add heavy coffee intake, and the shortfall becomes even greater. This is why geriatric specialists often encourage boosting calcium naturally through leafy greens, nuts, or small fish eaten with bones, rather than relying only on supplements. Looking at the big picture, coffee affects muscle health not just directly through sleep and hydration, but indirectly through bone strength. And once bones are compromised, muscles can function at their best. This chain reaction is often overlooked when we think about daily coffee habits. Now that we've examined how coffee disrupts sleep, fluids, electrolytes, and bones, It's time for the most practical part, the solutions. How can we still enjoy the taste of coffee while keeping our muscles and bones strong after 60? That's the focus of the next section. After looking at the downsides of overusing coffee, the most important point is not to think of coffee as completely bad. When used correctly, coffee still offers benefits like improving alertness, lifting mood, and even supporting short-term memory. The real issue is how much we drink and how we combine it with other lifestyle habits. First, let's talk about quantity. Nutrition experts generally recommend that older adults limit coffee to no more than 1 or 2 small cups per day, ideally in the morning. This gives the body enough time to process and clear caffeine before bedtime. For those who already struggle with light or broken sleep, avoiding coffee after lunchtime makes it easier to fall into deeper rest at night. Second, coffee should not be consumed on an empty stomach. In that case, caffeine can irritate the stomach and trigger jitters or a racing heartbeat. A better option is to have coffee after breakfast or with a light snack rich in protein and fiber, such as whole grain toast with an egg or a handful of nuts. Pairing it this way slows down caffeine absorption, reducing sudden impact on the nervous and cardiovascular systems. Third, consider healthy alternatives. For people who are used to 3 or 4 cups a day, try swapping in herbal teas like chamomile, peppermint, or mild ginger tea. These are caffeine-free, soothe the nerves, aid digestion, and provide a calming warmth. For those who still want that familiar bitterness, decaf coffee can be a good option. It keeps the flavor while greatly reducing the negative effects on sleep and bone health. Another simple but effective step is to always drink water alongside coffee. For every cup of coffee, add a glass of water. This habit not only replaces the fluids lost, but also helps prevent dry mouth and reduces palpitations after caffeine. For older adults, staying hydrated is key to preventing cramps, protecting muscles, and lowering fall risk. Beyond controlling coffee, muscle health can be supported through diet. Focus on foods rich in protein and minerals that strengthen both muscles and bones. Great choices include fatty fish like salmon and sardines for omega-3s, beans and seeds for magnesium, and leafy greens for calcium and vitamin K. When meals are varied and balanced, the body has what it needs to repair muscle and preserve strength, even while keeping a modest daily coffee habit. And of course, light physical activity remains essential. Coffee may bring a short burst of alertness, but only exercise truly strengthens the body. Walking, yoga, or gentle stretching all improve circulation, ensuring muscles get enough oxygen and nutrients. Combined with smart coffee use, this builds a lifestyle that is sustainable and protective for long-term health. For Kant, it's also worth noting that everyone has a different caffeine tolerance. Some people lose sleep from just 1 cup, while others manage 2 without trouble. The key is to listen to your own body. If you notice signs like a racing heartbeat, restless nights, trembling hands, or unusual fatigue, it's time to scale back. When we manage intake, choose the right timing, and add healthy alternatives, coffee stops being the enemy of muscles after 60. Instead, it can remain an enjoyable part of daily life without damaging health. The real takeaway is this coffee doesn't have to be eliminated. The key is balance. 1 small cup in the morning, paired with a nutrient-rich diet, plenty of water, protein and mineral-packed foods, and regular light exercise. That's the formula for strong muscles and steady bones. Used mindfully, coffee can still be a pleasure without carrying hidden costs. These are small adjustments with big impact. Cutting back 1 extra cup a day, replacing it with water or herbal tea, and adding just a few minutes of stretching or walking can make a noticeable difference. At any age, the body responds positively to care. But after 60, every small change is even more valuable for maintaining independence, muscle strength, and a sharp mind. So instead of letting coffee control our health, let's learn to control how we use it. Think of coffee as a friend, but one who needs clear boundaries. When we set those limits, we keep our health safe while preserving a beloved daily ritual. Before we close, let me ask you, if you had to choose, would you keep drinking 3 cups of coffee a day? Or would you cut back to 1 in exchange for deeper sleep and stronger muscles? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs to make a change. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe so we can continue exploring more natural health tips together. Taking care of the body after 60 is a journey, and each small piece of knowledge can make that journey smoother and more fulfilling.